basketball!
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to GMLB. Before we get anything started, we do want to say we apologize for not dropping an episode last week. We had one of our co-hosts get injured in an intramural basketball game. Victor, raise your hand, but not the bad one, please. All right. And we're going to jump right into it. We got a lot planned today. We're going to start off with some news. We're going to move into the GMLB second rendition of who he played for. We're going to do a little topic about using Jordan Poole's contract to pick two other players to replace him in Washington since it clearly isn't working. That's going to be a fun one. And then finally, we're going to end with some fan love. We're going to do a comment of the week, which I have graciously picked out. Might be able to predict it, might not. We got some great contenders there, but we're excited to get into it. It's a beautiful day in our hometown of Houston, Texas. So, Kev, go ahead and start us off with our news.
All right, so kicking off today, we have an interesting debate, or it might even be facts to talk about today. Nikola Jokic is still on his dominant run of just putting up insane stats as an NBA player. Current favorite to win the MVP for the 2023-2024 NBA season. And this is our first question for you all today. Is Nikola Jokic at his peak greater than Steph and KD was at their peaks? I got this from our beloved source at NBA Central by the host of House of Hoops, Jayson LT, on Nikola Jokic's peak. He believes that this version of Jokic is much better than Steph and KD. Now, I see what he means. I think this peak Jokic might be better than KD. I might go on the record and say it is.
Well, what is KD's peak? First of all, is that Warriors KD or is that late OKC KD?
I'd say Warriors.
Say late OKC to Warriors.
Okay, just so we're all on like the same page on what peak KD is. All right, go ahead.
I would say that. And then we all definitely know what Steph's peak is.
Yeah.
But kind of just going on what I was going to say, we all know about Jokic's accomplishments. But his defense has took an insane jump this season. There's many games that I've watched, especially the Denver Nuggets, where whenever a pass comes inside, Jokic is always getting his hand on it. He blocks a lot more shots than people thinks. And, we don't even need to talk about other things he does on the offensive end, which is quite literally everything for that team. But, Jokic won his first ring last season. It looks like that the Denver Nuggets are going to make another very good deep run to the NBA playoffs this year, especially with two of the top teams in the Western Conference being two very young, inexperienced teams. But the Western Conference is also very close. I believe from seed 1 to 8, there's only a 7-game difference, which is pretty wild. This is probably like the most competitive we've ever seen in the Western Conference. But I still believe the Denver Nuggets can pull it off. And at the beginning of the season, I think it was like the episode before the very beginning of the NBA season, all of us released our picks of who we think is going to win the NBA Finals and who we think they'd play. I called Nuggets going back-to-back. I'm not saying that's for sure going to happen, but the tear Jokic is on right now, how well Jamal Murray's playing, how well their bench unit has been playing too, more specifically their backup bigs, and the way Jokic is looking on defense, to me, I think it is incredibly possible for this team to go back-to-back.
Do you have the rest of our picks by any chance of who we all picked?
I do not off the top of my head. I just remembered what I said. I think you guys should remember what you said too, because you said it. But you probably said Celtics.
I know. I for sure said Celtics. I don't know what I had for the West.
Daniel said Clippers.
Not a bad take.
Not a bad take at all. Yeah. Luckily, they traded for James Harden. But I can't remember who Victor said. I think Victor might have said Nuggets too, or Celtics.
I think I said Nuggets, and I think Knicks is a sleeper pick. But
I do remember. I think I do remember you saying Knicks as a sleeper pick.
That would be.
Anyway,
I thought that was way later in this. Like we were into this season.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna. If you called
none of us predicted that the Knicks would do, I think, as well as they have been.
Preseason would be a crazy call. That would be insane.
I think he might have, to be honest. I feel like I remember him
Yeah.
saying that very extremely early on in the season, if not even before.
Damn.
Regardless, is peak Jokic better than Steph and KD? Peak Steph and KD. I'm gonna let y'all take the floor.
My question is this even Jokic's peak? Because I don't think it's I don't even think it's his peak yet, man. Like we're just getting like a
Coming off of an MVP. I don't know. No,
That's
he's
a
not
good
coming
point.
off of an MVP, but
He's 28. So he's
yeah,
technically right now at like his point in his career. This is like his prime has started technically this season.
Damn.
Like the way people
Can we just take a second to appreciate that? That's insane.
like the way people measure like players' primes, usually it's between their ages of like 28 to like 32, 33. Jokic is 28 right now.
I think for me, how I'm gonna start gauging these questions and hypotheticals is who would I rather have on my team to win games? And I'll say that like Nikola Jokic may not play basketball as sexy as KD and Steph Curry do, but he also is probably the most like complete big man we've ever seen in the league. I mean, dude does pretty much everything on the court. And the thing is, too, is it'd be one thing if he was a good big that his team still wasn't finding him success, but that Nuggets team really does still play around Nikola Jokic, and they're able to win a championship with him. And while he's putting up absolutely like insane stat lines too. So I think, yeah, I mean he's a great big man. And honestly, when I look head to head of like who would I rather have, oh, that's tough. I think I'm with you, Kevin. I think I'd rather have Nikola Jokic as he is right now than KD in his prime. Stephen Curry, I don't know. Stephen Curry has more championships. Like it would be hard to argue that, that Nikola Jokic is worth more than Steph Curry.
So you went Jokic, Kevin. Daniel, you went Jokic.
I'm gonna say Curry, honestly.
Okay, you went Curry.
Yeah.
Got it. Well,
I'd say Curry is slightly higher,
so you're
but I
taking
do.
Curry. You're taking Curry.
I would. I didn't say that. I kind of forgot to get to it. I was kind of more focused on KD. Peak Jokic over peak KD, yes. Peak
Yeah.
Jokic over peak Curry, I don't think so. I think Curry's slightly higher, but it's very close.
It is very close. Even though Curry has 3 more rings, it to me it's still very close.
Curry is in the top 10 all-time NBA players, I think. And for his peak, he was insane. And I think for that reason, I'm gonna have to go with Curry over Jokic. But for KD, I think I'm gonna go Jokic over KD.
You don't think Jokic will be top 10 all time by the time he retires?
I mean, it's just tough because like we haven't seen his full peak yet. We don't know if this is it or if he's gonna keep going. There's a lot of stuff that can happen
Can you
between
can
then
you
and now.
really
But
can
if he
you really
continues
go
this up, he could end up then at that table of 10.
I think the only thing he has to get are a couple more championships. I say if he gets 3 chips, he's for sure top 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Three's a good number too, I would say. Two's a little too low, but three puts him up there. Top
Mm.
10.
I mean, to be honest, I think Jokic has top 5 potential.
He was, well, do we consider him like a late bloomer a little bit? Because
No.
he wasn't like dominant. He wasn't nearly dominant like for his first few seasons. So
When did
I
he
don't
Yeah,
come
know.
into
but
the league though?
look what he's already accomplished,
Yeah.
and in just the short few seasons that he has been dominant, and he's 28 right now.
Eh, Yeah,
Yeah.
KD didn't win his first ring till he was 28, and Curry didn't win it till he was 26. So Jokic won it last season at 28 or 27 years old. So, I mean, it takes a while for these guys to win their first championships. You're not just going to come into the league and be great and win a championship unless you're on a good team, but which is a very rare case.
No, I wasn't talking about championships. I was talking just like general like just dominating the league. Like we think of like LeBron coming in. Like obviously LeBron is a top 10 player. Obviously. He came in and dominated right away. Like Shaq pretty much came in and dominated right away. So I'm just thinking like Jokic in eventual top 10. I wonder if just being a late bloomer would hurt his status in there because most of those guys came in and were just the guy right away. So
Okay,
Curry, I
But I
guess,
would
wasn't, but Curry would be like I would say Curry would be like number 10, maybe number 10, number nine ish,
of
but
what?
of just top 10 players
All time or one right now?
all time.
You put him that low?
I mean,
To,
that's a debate for another day. We could get
okay.
into it. I kind of don't want to go off topic all the way right now, but I mean, yeah, you can make the case. You can make the case he's not. I'm
I
totally okay with that.
I'm gonna kind of I don't think go back on what I said, but personally, now that I'm like really thinking about it, with how I'm not gonna say old Nikola Jokic is because he's not old, but I don't see Nikola Jokic. We already know that he's probably not gonna play as long as LeBron is, right? Which no one would, but specifically Nikola Jokic, we would imagine he's not going to be in the NBA for much longer. Dude's probably going to make his bread, win his shit, and then dip, and that's cool. But when I think about it like that and how kind of short the time frame is for him on that, now I'm kind of going back, and I don't think he would end up top 10. I don't think. I mean, he would have to just go absolutely insane, or well, continue what he's doing for like the next 5 years. I think for him to really be in that situation, and I think that's really tough. I don't know if he's
I
gonna be
mean,
able to do that.
I definitely agree with you, but I'm personally on the side of I think he can, but there's always potential for injuries, and we know Jokic is the guy who doesn't necessarily care about the stats and the MVPs. He just wants to like win. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, I can agree with that for sure. Um, Back to the peaks. So we're not going to consider 2014 KD's MVP season. We're not considering that his peak.
I wouldn't say so.
Wait, what season?
no, I think he might have had better years after that as just an all around player and leader.
I
Yeah,
know defensively he was at his best on the Warriors for sure.
Yeah,
So,
100%. And him being around like good defenders and being in a great system, I think definitely helped.
mhm.
But KD is all in all a pretty solid defender. I think at times his defense even gets underrated.
Yeah, I would say peak KD, if especially if we're considering him Warriors KD, I would say Jokic is for sure better just because KD was surrounded with so much talent that like on one hand you could say yeah, it's super hard to stand out on a team like that, but on the other hand you could say it's really easy to win and to be great on a team like that, especially like with Draymond being on that team. He's considered like an all-time great being on that team. So I'm gonna for sure put him above KD, but in terms of Curry and Jokic, I what's the consensus right now?
it's
Daniel, you said
unanimous.
Curry, so
It's
it's all unanimous
unanimous.
Curry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't want to be the guy that's like Jokic isn't flashy, so you don't consider him. But like when we're talking about just how iconic and how forward pushing Curry's peak was, not to glaze bro, but he literally like reinvented the game and how it's played and made the 3-point shot one of the most efficient shots in basketball. So I think just for sheer influence and push to the game, I'm gonna go Stephen Curry.
I I definitely like know what you mean because I kind of said the same thing, but I also think that even aside from the sexy style of play of Curry, like when you think of, you're late in the fourth quarter, your team's down by 5, let's say, right? Curry shooting that three ball well is unlike anything that any defense can play against, right? Like, well,
Mm,
Nikola Jokic is his own phenom in his own right, and he can get to the bucket at all times. But when you have a dude that, shoots with a hand in his face from 30 feet and then does it again, and then again. It's humiliating and a little bit, I think, harder to get back from. So I don't think we're I don't think we're crazy at all for unanimously going Curry.
I will say the case I would make for Jokic is that he did not have nearly as much talent on his team at his peak. So I'm still gonna go with Curry, but I do see like respect to Jokic because like in terms of how valuable he is to the team, I think he's just nearly or just as valuable to his team as Curry was. So I'm gonna go Curry.
I don't know, man. I think Curry is just like one of the best players to play in the NBA, and his prime was insane, man. Um, I used to not be a big Curry fan, and after they won that last chip, I started to appreciate him more and realized how great of a player he actually was. I know I know he won them against your Celtics. I'm not gonna cap, but I don't know if you guys saw that interview or podcast. I can't remember with who it was, and Curry was like, "Oh, this is y'all last win," and they came back and gave the Celtics an L. Was crazy.
It'd say that.
I
Wait,
um
why'd you hold up
I
that L?
I would love to hear the slander that you probably just gave me, but my connection went unstable for that entire spiel. So if you dissed me, I'm gonna get
No, it
your ass
wasn't.
for that. If you didn't, respect, because I agree with you.
I didn't. But I mean, I was just saying this, like what he said after they lost like the last game to the Celtics. He was saying that's gonna be y'all last win, and then they ended up winning the championship. But what, Kevin? Why'd you hold up that L?
The Boston Celtics.
Oh,
He's a shitty Bulls fan. That's how it goes with him.
I ain't shitty. I mean, I know the Bulls are shit, but they're not garbage. Completely garbage.
They're
They'll
pretty
fight
bad.
back.
They're pretty garbage.
They're pretty bad. What's pretty garbage is two superstars not showing up in the playoffs. That's pretty
Said it.
garbage.
I've said it once. I'll say it again. I'd rather be a Bulls fan with no hope than a Celtics fan that gets their hopes up every year.
I
No,
disagree, but
we have hope.
I disagree because I love watching the playoff runs, but um I mean, yeah, man. Your guys' season ends in what, April? So you
You're like
guys
a
have a lot of
you're like a
thinking to do.
you're like a girl, or you're like a guy that loves being with a toxic girl
True. That
because I
last
love
dance
the
Celtics
A's.
doc is gonna go crazy. But
Yeah,
let's move on. Let's move
you're
on
gonna
to the
find
next topic.
you're gonna find that shit in the trash bin at GameStop.
The Boston Celtics went a decade and were in every single playoff or every single
Conference finals.
conference finals, but lost 8 times in a row.
It's all right. Tatum's 19, bro. We got time.
It
Does Jalen Brown still have time to win 6 rings in, was it 6 months now?
Dude,
uh
we'll get them all this postseason, bro. Relax. All right, all right. Let's move
I
on though.
can't
Let's move on.
I
I don't
bro,
want to get too off topic.
I can't wait till Tatum retires and they make those jokes. Tatum retires. He's 19 though. He's still got time.
Hey, bro, if Tatum, all I'm gonna say is if Brown could go out and say they're gonna win those, then like y'all better throw that same shit at LeBron when he got to Miami and he did that whole not 6 but 7 rings, like the same exact thing, bro. Y'all better
He's
keep
got
that
rings.
energy.
He's got rings.
I mean, you're comparing two completely different players.
But it's the same quote. It's the same situation.
But he
Yeah,
has
And
rings.
neither of them did it. So it's really the same thing.
but it's funnier because it's Jalen Brown.
Dude, I know, but like arguably the greatest player of all time also did that. So who cares if Jalen Brown did it?
Yeah, but they got two. They got like a quarter of what?
Well, the Celtics still have a chance to get 2. You know, it's not like out of the
course.
question
What
yet.
year? What year did that interview
Absolutely.
happen?
Good question. That's a great question.
Because I would love to know if the Heat beat them that year.
Like 2010 or 2011. But moving on to our second topic of discussion. I don't know why Daniel gave me that look. Probably because he saw the new LA Clippers rebrand, which is what we're going to talk about. The LA Clippers new rebrand.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull
Now,
these up.
they're finally getting their own stadium. Um, after collecting Westbrook's bricks over the past 6 years of all the teams he's played for, they were able to build a new stadium. Congratulations to them. The the other day we were talking about this new rebrand in our group chat, and there was some mixed feelings about the court, the jerseys, and all that doohickey. The court could use a little bit of work. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't think it's the worst thing.
Oh, I
I
didn't
don't
even
think it's
see
the
the
worst thing
court.
ever.
I see it now.
Yeah, no, the court could use a little bit of work, but I don't think it's like the worst thing ever. The jerseys, I think the jerseys are fine. I think just as long as they get rid of those like black GTA 5 jerseys, then they'll be fine. But like all the other jerseys, the red, the white, and the blue, I think they're pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll say the only thing valid is like the jerseys. The logo's like all right. It's a little bit more simplistic, like how we were talking about in previous jersey rebrands, but the court is some ass. Like I can't stand the court.
Bro does not like the court. Um, I the first thought that comes to mind when I see the new Clippers logo is it looks like a baseball logo instead.
True.
Um,
Good point.
I don't know really like how to like put that into words, but I think this is the first era of new rebrands from NBA teams where it, like Victor said, it gets a little bit more minimalistic. Um, and I mean, yeah, it just gives me a lot more baseball vibes than anything. Also, I was one of the people who was very confused why they put a Disney cruise ship in the middle of a sea and pretty much called it a day. Um, yeah, I don't really know where that came from, but it's
That's
cool.
a clipper. A clipper is like a boat.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to get at. Like I don't know how that's. I
I
didn't
know
know that.
that there was criticism that like the boat looks more like a yacht. I'm pretty sure a clipper was like a type of war boat, like a navy boat, but I could be wrong.
I
But it
Yeah.
does look like a cruise ship though. You're right.
Hmm.
I don't know. I like this rebrand better than the Utah Jazz one. I think anything could have beat that. That's literally the
Would you
worst
tell him
logo
about
in
the
NBA
Jazz
history.
again?
Yeah. But like if you look at this, I know Daniel said like this is like the first like beginning of new logos and stuff, but they already started this in the past. Like they started this in the with the Jazz. The Cavs got that updated logo a couple years ago too. I think the
But those
Grizzlies
weren't
as
that
well.
bad. That's
Huh?
kind of my
Like
point is like the new logos are like they still give me basketball vibes.
for sure.
This one doesn't. This one's a little overly simplistic. It looks almost like this would be a sandwich shop on the pier in California. You know what I mean?
True.
Like
Yeah.
I agree with that again.
it's not it's not NBA. I don't know.
Um, I will say, since I haven't given my opinion just quite yet, after reviewing these for a couple days, the number one thing is why did everyone think the original logo was so ass? Everyone shits on that, and it's not even bad, bro. Like the
It's not bad at all.
basketball with the LA and the C around it. Like, I
It's not
don't, if
phenomenal.
I mean, it's not great. Personally, I like the idea of trying to put the boat in. I like it. I really do. But I think it was executed kind of poorly. I don't really mess with the new logo. I think it's weird. Like, it just like doesn't look like the other logos. There's like a lot going on with like the boat, the sea. There's a lot of layers. There's like the boat, then there's the sea, then there's the white circle, blue ring, navy blue ring, red ring
I
on the outside. Like there's just so much happening. I don't like
I
that.
I don't think it's also like to your point, it's not just about the fact that there's multiple layers, it's that the layers are lazy. Like this is definitely something that like you could build up on Adobe Photoshop and just put a sea, a boat. You know what I mean?
Bro.
Like
The
No, I mean
logo,
he's right though.
the
You literally could.
dude, fucking relax. The logo is not that complicated. You
Dude, it's
guys
just
are fucking.
it's
It's
trash,
not
bro.
that. It's
It's
not that
trash.
complicated.
That's the
I feel like
that's the actual reason I think it's trash. Like I look at it and I'm just describing what I see and why I feel
I
that way.
I understand. You didn't have to get all political on me, but I feel like what are you going to mention next? The latitude and longitude at the bottom of the court, the 31.945 degrees north, 118 .342 degrees west.
Listen,
How do we feel about that since
I
everything else is in question?
Look,
I
bro,
actually
the
daylight as
blacks.
a graphic designer, and I had an opportunity to work with the Clippers. Um, yeah, and I sent them in my request, and they denied it, so they went with the boat.
Yeah, personally, I think the blue and white jerseys are trash. I like the red ones. There's just so much dead space on them, bro. They look like the shitty city jerseys from this year. I
Kind
don't
of
like the
like them.
number on the side like that.
I like how they pay like homage to the old like when Chris Paul and Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan were on the Clippers. But that's what these jerseys remind me of, but like a futuristic version, if that makes sense.
Is that really a time we want to remember, though? The most
Hey,
underwhelming team ever assembled,
Lob
arguably.
City Clippers were fun to watch, man.
They were fun. They never did anything, though, but they were fun. I like the court, though. I kind of like I guess I just kind of like the color. I like the navy blue color scheme of it, but yeah,
I was
man.
gonna say that too. Like the navy blue Clipper, the Clipper blue, as opposed to the old Clipper blue they had. Remember like those like baby blue like powdered jerseys they had, the t-shirt ones,
Oh yeah.
and like that other blue that they had. I
That
didn't
was
really like
before their
those.
rebrand, though. That was before
Yeah,
the like Paul George Kawhi Clippers.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, I like this blue a lot better. Like that navy. I think it fits this. It fits definitely fits the theme too with like the boat. I know how y'all feel about the boat, but it fits the theme, the color of the court.
Like the
Yeah.
sea.
There's just too much happening in the logo, I think. There's just too much. I don't fuck with it.
I I think just like we're slowly starting to see all these teams like transition this way into these like minimalistic logos. I think there's only a couple teams that are clear of never changing their logos again, and I think that's going to be the Celtics, Bulls, Lakers, Spurs, and maybe some other ones I'm forgetting. But other than that, I think
The
every
Heat.
other. Oh, the Knicks too. Yeah, the Heat are nice.
If you think that they're not rebranding this fucker, you're out of your goddamn mind.
Hey, bro.
Give it 20 years and
That's the most that's the
they're
most
gonna
classic franchise.
they're gonna
I'd
put
I'd
fucking
say
Jaylen Brown in the center of that shit.
the only two that won't change drastically will be the Bulls and the Celtics, I think. I
And
think the Spurs could
Lakers.
change.
I don't think Lakers will go through too much change.
I think they'll
I don't
always
think
have
Lakers
that
will
LA,
either.
but I think they might add like a ball or something in it. Some shit like that. But yeah, LA's probably a close three. But yeah, all right, let's give them a rating. 1 to 10.
Like everything, jerseys, court, all that shit,
Just like everything pulled together.
everything pulled together. I'll say I'll say like a 6.8.
Going off of what they look like now, I'm gonna say a 7.2. So I'm a little bit higher.
I'm gonna go 7-5.
I'm gonna go like
This motherfucker's about to hate.
I'm gonna go like 6.2. Bro, stop getting after me for my opinion, man.
I'm just kidding.
Everyone on this pod knows my opinion goes. I'm gonna go 6.1.
The reason I was gonna give it a flat 7, but the reason why I went 6.8 is because I felt like the jerseys they could have done a little bit more with it. But I like the concept of the jersey, like the cursive. I like the color scheme, but I feel like a little bit more could have been done with the jerseys. Other than
You
that, like I like the court. The logo is cool. The jerseys are just not like my total favorite.
you guys don't like think there's too much dead space on the blue and white ones, like at all?
I have to look at them again. The dark, like navy blue, these
Is that's one from this year? That's not the new one.
I
Oh,
can't find the new ones then.
I don't think there's that much dead space. Like, what do you want more on there? I mean,
Like just like center the number, maybe make the number bigger. Like why is
Oh,
the Clippers and the number so small? And there's
I
just like a shit ton of yeah, you see all the dead space on Kawhi?
I
Like
do see
But
that
like
now.
I don't really like big numbers on basketball jerseys because then I feel like they look like football jerseys.
I mean, yeah, I guess just like center it. Like I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie, this does look better. I kind of
Ex-
see what he means. I think that does look a little bit better than what I just pointed out, which is this.
But these are exactly like the Lob City Clippers jerseys. Like if you look at them, these are just like more modern. This
All
is
right, well, I don't
exactly
think
how
they
the
should, allocate all of their resources trying to look exact.
I know, but I think these are way better than their rebrand they had after they went away from that. I think
well,
this
you see
Yeah.
is
on the Lob City Clippers jerseys, it's in the middle. The Clippers and the number are farther down the jersey. Like they're in the middle. That's what I think is the difference. These have the name and the number right like towards the top. So then there's just like I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. They're different though. But like technically they're in the same like format, like diagonal name, number. They're just lower on the jersey. That just takes away the dead space, but we don't have
I'm
to dwell
I'm
on that.
I'm looking at all of like the pictures and stuff, and I think we'll just have to wait and see how they look on. I think like when I look at some of these pictures, like they do look a little bit better. So it's probably just going to depend on how they look when they start the season.
if you made it this far into the video, we want to thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you made it this far and enjoy the content. We're trying to hit our goal of 400 subscribers by the end of February, if that's possible. We got 2 days left, so make sure to share us with everybody. And if you can listen in on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please drop a rating. And back to the pod.
All right, so getting into our last little debate topic of the night, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about MVP talk. I feel like we're finally in a comfortable position in the season, a little bit after the All-Star break, to where we can now start considering league MVP and who are the favorites and who's not. A big question that I've been seeing around is why isn't Tatum being more considered for the league MVP this year? I think the past few seasons and just ever since Tatum really took off with his career, he hasn't ever really been in the top three. Personally, I don't necessarily think Tatum is being overlooked for the MVP award. It's just the company around him is just so dominant. We look at Giannis, we look at Jokic, we look at Embiid, who isn't eligible this year, which could help out Tatum a lot because, Embiid's missed a handful of games. But I feel like just the company he's in, it just really doesn't help his case. I know Shea is getting a lot of, praise this year to be a league MVP. But one of the reasons why I think Tatum might be overlooked is because of the team he is on. He does play with Jaylen Brown. He has a lot of other very solid players around him that have been all-stars. So I think that could maybe play a part into people not really considering him for it because, he's on a very great team. He's on a great team that plays well with each other. So I think a lot of people might have the misconception that he has like a solid amount of help around him. And that help doesn't really equate to the stats that he's putting up a night.
I want
But
to
other than
propose
that,
a
his stats are
question
great. Go ahead.
real quick. Each one of you answer. Who's better, Tatum or SGA?
Tatum.
Tatum.
I think Tatum's way better than SGA.
Why is Tatum not top five then? If SGA is number two in
Tatum is
MVP
top
ladder.
5.
Well, you know what
Well,
I mean.
I
Just like not. I'm
personally,
sorry, I misspoke. I meant like just near SGA.
I don't think SGA should even be in the MVP voting as it is. So, like, to be honest, I really couldn't give you an answer as to why that is because I think Tatum is a lot more deserving of it than Shea is. I would probably guess just because, like,
It's because
Shea
of 30.
competes
It's because
because
he's averaging 30.
It's
he's averaging a
literally
good amount.
exactly. It's only scoring. Like no one looks at the other shit.
Right. But also, I think another reason might be is because SGA competes in the Western Conference and his team is near the top. So I feel like people hold a lot more weight to those participants because they're in a tougher conference. That's just how I feel.
I
Other than
mean,
that, I don't really
I
think SGA should be in the top 3 or 5 or 6 for MVP voting.
I
That's my
agree
Plus, he
opinion.
with
played.
you.
Plus, he
but
plays the
Boss
defensive end.
and Tatum doesn't.
But I'm just saying he's playing really good defensively this season too. I'm not saying Tatum's not.
I would argue Tatum is just as good as SGA on defense. Maybe better because he's bigger, but that's a conversation for a different day. Um, I guess the thing is like, yes, I agree that the Western Conference is harder, but I think Boston is the best team in the NBA this year. And I think best player on best team should at least be up there, especially if Shea's up there. That's just my opinion. I know that's not the greatest way of looking at things, but best player on best team, and he's better than some of the players up there. Now, I think Luke is better than Tatum. Obviously, Jokic is better than Tatum, but I think Tatum's better than SGA.
So
That's kind of I have a bone to pick with SGA about that. I'm gonna be honest.
But
I
it,
sorry. I think when it comes to Tatum, I think I've said it once, I'll say it again. It it really I think is kind of coming down to the fact that he hasn't won anything yet. Um he's in hard company right now, like Kevin said, and the obvious favorite is to go with the guy that's going to win his team a championship, and that's, leading his team in pretty much every skill that he can. But then when you go outside of that, I think the other people that you look at is guys who have strongly impacted their team and made them better, obviously, but in a way that is, like we talked about earlier, sexy and appealing to the fan base. What Tatum is doing on the Celtics is not either of those things, right? And good for him, he takes his team start to finish and they put themselves in contention every year. And I think, yeah, that's 100%. A huge part goes to Tatum for doing that. But until he wins something and until he proves that you are the most valuable player in the league, right? And that's because not only are you good on most nights and in regular season, but you're the most valuable player because you took them to it all, right? You took them to the top of the mountain, and he hasn't really proven that yet. He's taken them right up there, and then he just, tries to grab with his left hand, and it turns into Jaylen Brown, and he falls. But I don't know. I think you're right. Does Tatum deserve to be a little bit more of a contender in these conversations? Absolutely. But until he wins, um, yeah, I mean, it's just tough to say that he is the most valuable player in the league.
I don't think that's valid because Embiid hasn't won anything and he won the MVP
SGA or
last year.
Doncic haven't
Yeah.
either. But I get what he's saying though. Like it's I get what he's saying. They haven't tangibly won something. It's more the like fan stigma of them.
And so one
The
thing,
fans see SGA as like what can he do? We don't know yet. But the fans, because it's mostly fan, well, it's not mostly fan voting, but fans play a big part in like how these players are
Luca,
talked about and how they move on this ladder. So I think the
Luca,
fans definitely
sorry,
think that Tatum is just underwhelming considering his playoff blunders. But go ahead.
Luke, Luca and SGA. I think one thing, like I kind of was trying to get at, is they haven't been in the same position as Tatum, right? They haven't gotten all the way into a finals, right? Or even a conference finals. Um,
Luca has.
Luca has. The
Well,
thing is,
MVP is also a regular season award, so we can't
for sure,
place too much on there. But
that's true. That's
in
true.
terms of stigma, yes.
But I think that, like I was kind of saying, it's sexier, and I think what you were saying too is that it's sexier to look at Luca and to look at guys like SGA who haven't really been at that consistency level as, like, Tatum, and be like, oh no, this guy is the most valuable player on the team, even though we don't know what's the future is going to hold. He looks right now like the best guy possible for them to have. I don't know.
See, I think, all right, Jason Tatum's averaging 27 right now. If he was on a team with not this many good of like role players and all stars with Jaylen Brown and stuff, he'd be easily averaging 30 the fact that he is on such a great team and the best team in the NBA is the reason why he's getting overlooked as an MVP caliber player, and that's why he's fifth right now. Like all these other guys are averaging 30 right now. I don't think what's who's let me see the MVP race again. There was
It's
someone that
Jokic,
I
SGA, Giannis, Luka, Tatum.
see. I think Tatum should be ahead of Giannis. I think it should go Jokic, not in any order. Jokic, Shea, and Tatum in the top three.
Agreed.
We got some disagreements because I'm with Kevin. I don't know if Kevin's still or if this is exactly what Kevin said, but I don't think SGA really should be in that top three.
I mean,
I don't think Luka or Giannis should be. I think you put SGA there just because of his team success. I think that's the only thing that separates him from Giannis and Luka,
But that
like
that Thunder team
majorly.
definitely that Thunder team definitely is not just SGA.
for sure, but like that plays a huge factor into MVP voting is the
Yeah.
team success, and SGA and the Thunder being at number two is huge from what they were last year. I think last year maybe they finished like eighth or something. Or did they even make playoffs last year? I don't think they made
I don't
playoffs.
think they did. I think they were
They
pretty
didn't.
fucking terrible last year.
Yeah.
They didn't make playoffs, especially just how like young that team is too. Like their second best player, arguably, is a rookie, and just like the overall inexperience, I feel like that kind of plays a part into people's decision making too.
All right. Now for what I've been waiting for the whole night. We're going to get into GMLB's second rendition. Vic, you better stop looking at that other tab. I see your eyes. The second rendition of who he played for. Vic pulling up the rosters. No, I'm playing. But we're going to do it a little differently this time. I got 3 players for each of my co-hosts, Kevin, Victor, and Daniel. I will not be competing this time. We'll go whoever gets the most out of those 3 will win. If it's a tie, we'll do a tiebreaker round, which I will find on the spot just to add some pressure. Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
Daniel, you're first. Who he play for? Bismack Biyombo.
Bismack Biyombo?
Yes, sir.
Shit.
we're, we're off to a good start.
I think I
God,
know it.
it sounds like oh, wait, sorry. Okay, I should so is this what were the conditions of this again? Who he play for now?
Yeah, it's all current players. And I'm gonna after this go, I'm gonna put a 30-second time limit on for each guess just to add some pressure.
Can I ask, is he in the NBA? Is it an NBA team? It's not
Daniel,
fucking the
yes,
Shanghai
they're
Tigers.
No,
they're
it's
all
definitely
Yes,
NBA.
bro. It's a player.
There's
It's a
no
player
trick
in the league right
questions.
now. The fuck are you talking
All
about?
Bro,
right.
about to pull out the whiteboard.
Yeah.
I had Magic in my head since the start, so I'm just gonna go Magic.
Orlando Magic is wrong. Does anybody want to get that?
Phoenix Suns.
Wrong.
What? Yo,
Kevin, guess.
Rockets.
Wrong.
Raptors.
Shit.
Bismack Biyombo is currently on the Oklahoma City Thunder, baby.
oh.
I was gonna guess that. I was close.
All right.
Was he last on the Suns? I
Yeah.
swear you.
Yeah,
That's
he
why.
was last on the
Damn.
Suns. Believe he was dished at the deadline. All right. Mr. Kevin, you are next. Who he play for? Wesley Matthews.
Wes Matthews. Move it a little bit more to the middle.
I
So
know
I can
this is
see it. It's
inverted.
blocked by the...
Yeah, I know this is inverted, but you get the point.
Wes Matthews.
A lot of good veterans I could throw in here.
You could. Wesley Matthews is on. Is he on New York?
He is not.
Shit.
Wesley Matthews is on. Any guesses before I give it?
Trailblazers,
Atlanta
yes.
Hawks. Close. All right. No more extra guesses
All right.
because I don't want to waste time. All right. Wesley Matthews is on the Atlanta Hawks. All right, Victor. You are next up. So far, we're 0 for 2. Victor, your first player. You should know who this is. I'm pretty sure you know who this is. Who he play for? Jordan Nwora.
And
You know who that is, right?
yeah, I know. I don't know what team he's on. uh, I don't know why, but my gut feeling's telling me the Brooklyn Nets. I don't know why.
The Brooklyn Nets is unfortunately wrong. Jordan Nwora plays for the Toronto Raptors. All right. Back to Daniel. Who he play for? Seth Curry.
This is a good one because he's been moving around a lot. Um,
Just got traded.
he did just get traded. Oh my God. I want to say, did he get traded to the Bucks? I don't think he did.
3, 2, lock it.
All right, Bucks.
Hornets.
Unfortunately, Milwaukee Bucks is wrong. Seth Curry plays for the Charlotte Hornets, where his father used to play. Shout out Del Curry. Kevin, I believe it's that time again. Who he play for? Yuta Watanabe.
Oh, he just got traded too, bro. Didn't he?
Yep, the trade deadline has made things so interesting. It made it so
Oh, he
easy.
just got traded. He was on Phoenix.
That's why I wanted to do this one this week because it's post trade deadline. You know, you had a couple weeks to make sure everything's locked.
He's on Houston, right?
Yuta Watanabe is not on the Houston Rockets. He is on the Memphis Grizzlies.
Grizzlies. Yeah, that's right. God damn it.
All right,
God
Victor.
damn it.
So far, we are 0 for 5. Victor, can you get the first win? Who he play for? Jock Landale.
Oh my gosh, bro.
That face didn't look very confident.
Yeah, because
You must be thinking pretty hard. And you should be. 5 seconds.
see on the Wizards.
Jock Landale is not on the Wizards. He is on the Houston Rockets. All right, Daniel. I feel like you're going to get this one.
Probably not.
Who he play for? Cody Zeller. You could get this one.
All right, yeah. Can I ask like what
No
conference?
questions. No questions.
No questions, huh? Okay. Oh man.
5 seconds. Lock
Okay.
it.
Okay.
First team that comes to mind. Lock it.
First team.
Yeah, you got to give an answer. Your time is up.
All right. Philly. I don't know.
Philadelphia 76ers is wrong. Cody Zeller is currently on the New Orleans Pelicans. All right, Kev. So far, I can't lie, I'm a bit disappointed. I thought you would get some of these, but your
I
final.
knew everyone else's answers. I knew Jordan Nwora and I knew Seth Curry.
All right. I'm picking players that I guess Jordan Nwora isn't the most relevant, but I'm trying to pick players who are pretty well known. But next one, Kevin, your final player to avoid going 0 for 3. Who he play for? Troy Brown Jr.
Troy Brown Jr. is on Portland.
Mavericks. That's my guess.
Portland Trailblazers is wrong. Troy Brown Jr. is on the Detroit
Shit.
Pistons.
He is on the Pistons, bro.
Is that
Fuck.
what Daniel said?
No, I said
Oh,
fucking
he said Mavericks.
yeah.
All
Thanks,
right,
though, Vic.
Victor, if there is one player that I would bet someone could get on here, it was Seth Curry, but it's
Yeah,
gonna be this one
that
now.
was a gimme.
All right, Victor, your player, who he played for? Simone Fontecchio.
He just got traded too.
Kev, you know this one?
I don't think I do.
This is one I think I would get. Well, I know I would get, but
I'm trying to think of the trades.
where did he play before? Do you know that?
No. Is he on the Celtics?
He is not on the Celtics.
Pistons?
Simone Font. He's on the Detroit Pistons. He is on the Pistons.
He was on the Jazz.
No fucking
Yeah,
way.
he was a
Are you
starter on
dead
the
ass?
Jazz. All right, so to wrap up who he played for, we have a combined 0 for 9 right now. So I guess by default, oh my God, voice crack. By default, I will have to give a player of my choosing, and it's going to be one guess each. You get one guess, and it's whoever says the name first. Okay, that's how we're going to do it. If none of you get it in one guess, we're going to pick another player. This is the three-way. Since y'all went 0 for 3, each of y'all, this
All right,
is
so
going
I'm
to be the
guessing the
three-way
player now, though?
tiebreaker. I'm going to give a player.
Oh.
All right. Here we go. Looking around, looking around. All right. Thomas Bryant.
Heat.
Victor wins. He won the gimme player. So therefore, Victor has won, which makes him two-time GMLB who he played for champ on some bullshit this week off a tiebreaker of basically a gimme player. He was the fastest to name the team. But that's gonna wrap it up. Victor, what are your as the number one? What's your final statement before we move on?
I just want to thank the Lord above, and let's get into the next segment.
All right, let's move on. So getting into our next segment, this is the one. This is going to be a fun one. Feel free to play along at home. This is using Jordan Poole's current Washington Wizards contract to draft two players. I'm going to name the list of players in a second, but we're going to pay two players to put on the Wizards in place of Jordan Poole. So
Shout out Dunks X.
shout out Dunks X for the idea. Good call, Vic. So the names of players that we could possibly replace Jordan Poole with. Remember, we get two of these. PJ Washington, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Jordan Clarkson, Naz Reid, Austin Reeves, Herb Jones, Alex Caruso, and Dante DiVincenzo. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first, just so that way my picks don't sound like they're picked off of everyone else's. But I think it's a no-brainer. I'm gonna have to go KCP. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I could say, why I'm picking KCP, but I think he's proven himself, on that Nuggets team. He was a huge part of them winning a championship and even just their regular season. I mean, yeah, not much needs to be said about him. Second player, I like the idea of throwing Alex Caruso in there. I mean, on the Bulls, man, I had my criticisms when they added him, but he's really big for them too. I like the way he plays. He's a good team player and a bucket. So, but the only other player, and I know I might get clowned for this, but DiVincenzo is a really good player, and I enjoy watching him. I think he's a really good player. I think my picks are going to be probably KCP, and I'll go Alex Caruso.
All right, next. So we know they got Tyus Jones. I really like that guy as the point guard, and I don't want to have a backcourt of Tyus Jones and Caruso just because I want a scorer in the backcourt just to balance with Kyle Kuzma. So I'm going to go Austin Reeves, and some people may say that having Austin Reeves in that position is the same exact thing as having Jordan Poole in that position. But I think Reeves would be better. 16 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. It's pretty solid. Still very young, only 25 years old. I understand Poole is young as well, but I'm going to go Reeves. A lot of upside potential for him in that role. We've seen what he could do on the Lakers, but I'm going to go Reeves to fill that. And then my second player, I'm going to go. Damn, bro. A lot of guards on this list. I'm going to go Herb Jones. Solid ass role player, good 3-and-D guy. Not a fan of the college he went to, but for what it's worth, I think Herb Jones has a lot of upside. A lot of people talk about Trey Murphy and how much upside he has on the Pelicans, but I think Herb Jones is right there as well. But yeah, I think Herb Jones is just more versatile, and I like the idea of having Tyus Jones, Reeves, Herb Jones, Kuzma as like a core of players.
My pick, I was gonna go with Naz Reid as my first pick. I think it'd be a better center than Marvin Bagley. They need a center for the Wizards. Naz Reid has been playing really well this season. He's earned that contract and definitely been playing up to it on the Timberwolves. And he's been with that second unit, helping them out. And Timberwolves have been killing it all year. For my second pick, I think I'm gonna have to go with Austin Reeves. It was between him and Dante DiVincenzo. I really like DiVincenzo, but I think Austin Reeves has a little bit more to offer as we've seen him with the Lakers. He's been there in clutch moments, been there in big time moments when you need to count on him, and I think he can help the Wizards out there.
You don't think Naz Reid's a little undersized?
Yeah, but I mean Wizards could use any help. That team,
True. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. Good
I'm gonna
point.
get into that. So for my two picks on who I replace Jordan Poole with, first one I'm gonna go with DiVincenzo. Dude's been playing out of his mind this season. He's a very great shooter. He's really found his role on a team, which he kind of struggled with the past few seasons. He was solid for the Warriors, but he just couldn't really find the minutes on that team for obvious reasons. You know, Steph, Clay, Jordan Poole, and GP2 all being there. But his role with the Knicks this year has been great. He's became like a pretty solid scorer. He can score off the dribble, and he's a really good catch and shoot guy. And he's a very, very active defender. And I think a backcourt with him and Tyus Jones could be successful. Then the second player that I'd want to pick, piggybacking off Victor a little bit, is Naz Reid. He is a little bit of an undersized big, but he's very lanky and he makes up for his lack of size by playing very physical and by being a great shooter. And he's a very solid rebounder and defender, which is something that I think that the Washington Wizards could definitely use. They had Gafford. Unfortunately, they did trade him, and even when they had Gafford, I think they gave up the most rebounds in the league, which is pretty horrible. But I'm not saying Naz Reid is going to completely fix that scenario, but I think his physicality and his presence would help it out a lot.
Good takes. Good takes all around. Getting into our final topic today. We're going to try to show some fans some love more on this podcast. You guys take the time to listen to us, and we're going to give it right back to you. And we're going to give everyone the opportunity to make an appearance on our pod in the form of comment of the week. So for this week, the comments come from either YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, potentially expanding in the future. But for now, that's where we're going to keep it. It's where we get the most engagement. Comment of the week this week comes from the @G Grant. This is from the reel of us blind ranking in-game dunkers, where I decided to try to put Ja Morant at number 4 on our list of best in-game dunkers in the league, to where G Grant replied, "Blonde guy should be removed." If you look at my fellow co-hosts, I know Kevin's wearing a hat, but there is only one blonde on this podcast, and that happens to be me. So shout out G Grant. What do you guys got to say about this one?
I saw that comment and I just brushed it off as either you on your account on another account or one of your friends. So
That's crazy. I have no idea who this person is.
Okay, so the fact that it was just a random person and they had so much hate off of like the 3 seconds where where you were just trying to guess the order is insane. I mean, we know that the internet is insane, but
Blonde guy's gotta go.
that's funny as hell, bro.
And the thing is I like rationalized putting Ja at 4 because,
Yeah,
I was like, he hasn't, he misses a lot of the dunks he takes. Like a lot of his greatest could be highlights, like miss, So like, I don't think that was that bad, but G Grant disagrees. What other comments?
My reaction to seeing that is I knew you were gonna call me and talk about it. I was thinking, and that's what happened. So
I low key be like KD. I ain't gonna lie. I low key be like KD on the socials sometimes. Trying to move away from that though. But yeah, I wanted to pick something that was like good hearted for this week. Like something like, oh, this is great content. Because we get those here and there, but that one was just too good to pass up. And to kick off this ending segment for most of our pods we're gonna be doing, I think that's a great start. So
I like Victor, if you could just like roll the clip of like you on TikTok, just like because for anyone that hasn't seen that reel, it's literally just like Miles saying like, "Oh, I think maybe we should put Ja at the 4," and like and it was like logic behind it, but that's so funny, bro. Dude just got to work on his finger. He said, "Yeah, remove that guy,
just straight away, just off the pod.
get
hey,
him off the pod."
I bet he
He
didn't
probably
watch it.
doesn't even listen to shit either.
Yeah.
Just like he just wants to hate.
No, I bet he didn't even watch anything after that. He saw that he said, "Oh, Ja at 4," and then paused the video and just commented it and then left.
What's
Probably.
crazy is like how that list panned out is like that list was damn near blind ranked perfect.
Yeah.
And that's a good point because he probably didn't fucking see that part. So
I'm thinking what's on my mind right now is Kevin's been real quiet since we brought up that comment.
Well, it wasn't about me because I've been looking for some other comments too. But I found a good one right here. One about our spelling bee where Daniel tried to spell Wally Zerbiak and he brought out his little stupid ass whiteboard that he always does. And so we have a comment here from _Ben_net. And his comment was, thought I recognized these guys. Go Hoosiers.
Swear?
Pretty funny, man. Yeah.
wait, what?
What? I didn't even see that.
Dead ass?
I ain't make that up.
That's crazy. Is that on Reels? That's on IG?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Daniel's wearing a Hoosiers hat. He's wearing an IU hat in the video. That's why.
That's funny though because
How'd you know that off the top of your head?
I'm looking at it. I have it pulled up.
Oh,
that's funny though because then that means that he was talking shit. Right?
like he had some typed out.
No. Like he like him saying that to me is him saying like, "Oh, I thought I recognized like these idiots. They're Hoosiers." Type shit. I think it's more of like a disrespect kind of thing.
No, I
don't
just
think
looked
so.
it up. He's from IU. Like he was an IU alumni.
Oh, I know this kid.
Bro, like that's
crazy.
actually a fire comment. I didn't see that.
Yeah, that is a fire comment then.
But shout out Wally Zerbiak. He actually a week later liked that reel.
Yeah. Shout out Wally Zerbiak. That's
Yeah.
our second NBA player engagement with us, besides Terrence Ross, reacting to the retirement reel.
Bro, I got so hyped when I saw Wally like it because I was like, bro, no way.
Yeah, that's
That
dope.
was pretty. That was pretty dope.
I guess an honorable mention for comment of the week, just since this is our first week. Hopefully we like start getting a surplus of comments so that I'm not just giving away all the good content. But one of them was when we were trying to decipher the logo for the Syracuse Nationals. And
This is a good one, yeah.
and Daniel goes, well, Syracuse is in Pennsylvania, so Philadelphia. For those of you that don't know your geography, Syracuse is not in Pennsylvania. So Daniel somehow guessed the team right with a terribly wrong rationale of where Syracuse is. So shout out
Dude.
Daniel for that. There's a couple comments on here. Syracuse, Pennsylvania. Dan is a gem. And that's from the boy Jared. But we also have one that says, what? Syracuse is in New York. So
Honestly,
Someone knew.
I don't
someone
even
knew.
I don't even want to like explain because I remember what my rationale was. But I don't even want to explain it. But
All right,
no,
don't
yeah,
then.
anyone that knows me personally knows that like one of the first things I'll tell you is that I am absolutely terrible with geography. Like
Yeah.
if you sat me down in a room with someone who is giving me pop quizzes on things that should be like common knowledge or just common sense, you wouldn't get it from me. No,
Daniel
sorry.
can't even find his belly button, so
That's crazy.
Calling me Fat Vic.
nah. Just calling you clueless.
When Victor and I went to Colorado, I had to explain to him where Denver was. We were looking at it. We were inside the city. Where are we? We're in Denver, Victor. What?
That's so funny, bro. I could see both of y'all doing both of those things, like so
Yeah.
realistically.
How did you guys get around? Okay, this
Yeah,
is my
dude.
question.
How did
Who
y'all go to
watched?
Denver alone, bro?
Who watched? Who who watched you guys?
Dude, that was a good trip. I enjoyed that trip a lot.
Yeah, Denver's dope if you've never been there. Recommend it.
All right. Well, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Blonde guys got to go.
Blonde guys gotta go.
That's so.
Hey, hey,
You
I
should
already
have
know.
never
Yeah.
pointed out that comment, bro. I'm gonna say that shit forever.
Dude, I think that one is like like I know it's about me, but like that one is so fucking funny to me. I think just the way it's worded, like blonde guy should be removed, is just so funny. Just so like blunt with it.
You wasted no time.
All right, folks. Well, that concludes yet another episode of Good Morning Let's Basketball. We want to take our time. We want to take our time to give a special appreciation and thank you to all of our fans that have been with us for this long 1 year anniversary that just actually happened a few days ago for our channel. Yeah, we just want to say thank you to all of our subscribers. Make sure that you guys continue to listen in on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever we post content, Instagram, YouTube, all of it. Thank you guys so much for watching and good night.
And with that being said, follow Good Night Let's Ball Sack. We're out of here.